Welcome into the Scoreboard. I'm your host, Blake O'Rulian. On today's show, we talk about e-bikes with Town AllStars. We get our weekly fly fishing report from Minturn anglers, and we preview our adventure show, Scoreboard Nation. But first, let's check in with Maddie Evans, who brings us the details on our adorable new avalanche dogs at Beaver Creek.
Thanks so much, Blake. We absolutely love our dogs up here, and you know one of my favorite things, if you've seen any of the Scoreboard episodes in the past, is talking about dogs because I love them so much. Now, my dog is not smart enough, I would say, to do this, but we've got some incredible new members of our ski patrol team up here in Beaver Creek. We've got two new Avi dogs, and they are absolutely to die for. So the first one is Ruby. She's a 13-week-old black lab puppy, and she is absolutely adorable. She comes from Pierce, Colorado, and she is handled by Toby, a 6th-year ski patroller. You can see them in this video getting nice and ready to get out there on the mountain, and she came a little bit earlier in the spring, so she got some time up there when there was still a little bit of snow left, and you can see those cooler temperatures based on what he's wearing, and she gets to get up there and play in the snow. The best part about the Avi dogs up here is they have the most wonderful lives. They get to work hard and they play hard. Now, the other adorable puppy that we want to talk to you about is Telly. Telly is a 9-week-old golden retriever puppy, and she's from Newcastle, Colorado, and her ears are as big as her personality. You can see here walking herself, enjoying the grass, and just being so cute. Now, she is handled by Gavin, a 4th-year patroller. These dogs are going to be trained for the next 2 years to really get the full education of being an avalanche dog, but they're going to continue to learn and grow throughout the course of their entire career. Now, this is a really intense career, as they're going to be saving people's lives if there's avalanches up on the mountain or maybe in those out-of-bounds areas. And so it's really important that not only the human goes to the training, but the dogs go to the training as well, and then they have to coincide and work together so hand in hand as such a partnership to do this and do it correctly and safely. Now, some of the great things that these dogs are going to be learning throughout their journey is they'll be on avalanche search strategy, which means that they're going to know exactly how to help find and follow the avalanche, so then they can kind of help find the people that might have been in the avalanche. They're also going to work on their scent theory, so that, of course, their noses are their biggest tools. They can use those noses to find the people or anything that is buried in that avalanche that could be in danger or is in danger. Now, both the human and the dog have some learning to do, especially as they make their way through this process. And the humans have to learn canine care and first aid. It's really important that the dogs are well cared for throughout the course of their journey, as well as the humans being nice and safe out there on the mountains. It's important that we keep everyone safe, and it's important that these dogs live their best lives. But like I said, these dogs not only have the best jobs because they get to be out on the mountain all the time, but they're so loved and so cared for, not only by their handlers directly, but by the entire ski patrol team. We want to thank Beaver Creek for showing us these beautiful images, sharing them with us, allowing us to give you all this great information. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the Scoreboard.
Welcome back into the Scoreboard. I'm your host, Blake O'Rulian. Up next, we talk about all things e-bikes with Town AllStars.
When you think of summertime, don't you think of getting out and riding your bike around? Well, Chris Pavona from Town AllStars has us on some lovely trusted steeds here. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Maddie.
These bikes are pretty cool.
They are super. 73.
That's it. They are super.
They're super 73s, correct.
And so what makes these bikes so special compared to some of the other ones that you see around town?
So this brand I've been following for a while. They just have a really cool styling, kind of like that old cafe racer. They've got a pretty amazing range. They're fast, they're quick, they're fun. And I think it's just a perfect tool to get around the valley in the in the summertime.
Especially during the summertime, but then look at how beefy these tires are. I feel like you could ride these things in the winter pretty well if you're bold.
You could. The ice does get a little scary. We definitely have another tire that we'll be putting on some of the bikes for the wintertime, more of kind of compared to like a snow tire. But yeah, they definitely have some off-road capabilities, especially with the one you're on with the full suspension. So yeah, so definitely a very capable bike.
And we've got 3 models right here, so let's talk about this one really quickly.
Yep. So this right here is our base model, most cost effective, definitely not a lot of the frills, no front suspension, no light, but definitely a good starting point, 750 watt battery. And then next up is our most popular model. This is actually our most popular color as well. This is called the S2. It's going to have a 960 watt battery, front suspension, LED light, mechanical brakes, a range of about 40 miles, and it goes about 30 miles an hour, 31, 32 miles an hour.
That's speedy.
That's speedy. That's breaking some laws.
And then what about this one right here?
So that's basically going to have the same battery, same speed, about 30. LED light. It actually has a horn, which is pretty nice. So if someone's going to cut you off, you can definitely blast them. As well as rear suspension, and then the bigger tires as well. So that's kind of our high-end model.
I really want to push this horn.
We got to turn it on first.
All right.
Give it a second.
Okay. All right. We'll keep talking about bikes then, and then I'll launch the horn in here. And so if people are interested, they can come in here and buy bikes.
Yep. So basically the big thing is we like to get them on the bike, because once they get on the bike, they come back to the shop and they're just like smiling. they're smiling ear to ear. So that's the horn.
Yeah, I would say it's a pretty solid horn.
Yeah, so we just like to get people in here, try out the bikes. 8 times out of 10, Pumpkin gets on the bike and they come back in. They're like, I need one of these. And then they go home, their wife, their significant other tries it, and then they wind up coming back and buying a second one. So it's definitely been a pretty fun thing to have people pretty stoked out about these things.
And you guys are one of the few places in the valley that are carrying this specific model.
So we're technically the only dealer of Super 73, especially with the higher end models. There's another big box store has them, but we're the only ones that actually have the high end models.
Which these are really fun for people to get out, and so I think that maybe you and I should go ride some bikes.
Let's ride.
Perfect. We're gonna go take these bad boys out for a spin, but we're gonna take you along on the adventure. So we're gonna get geared up and then we're gonna get outside. Stay tuned. We've made our way outside. We're on the bikes. We've got our safety first on. Make sure we're nice and safe out there. So Chris, how do we use the bikes?
So basically, that's the horn. This is a bell. So if anyone gets in your way, you're prepared. So these have 2 different settings. You can do pedal assist, or you can use actually the throttle, which is right here. When the brake is engaged, you cannot use the throttle. So how I like to start out is by kind of getting a little lift off with a little throttle, and then you're right into your pedal assist.
Perfect.
Same thing as most bikes. You got your rear brake, you got your front brake. Pretty simple. It's just like riding a bike.
Oh my goodness.
See what I
with the
did there?
puns. Yeah, I love a good dad joke.
Yeah.
So if people are interested to come ride the bikes, test them out, they can
Yep.
just come find you at your shop. Where are you guys located?
We are here in beautiful Vail, Colorado, also known as the Green Mile. We're right next to Pier 13 Liquors, Huga Life, Big O Tires adjacent. Yeah, we got everything right here.
And do the helmets come with the bikes?
If you really want one of these lovely peach salmon pink helmets, I'll give you one for free.
Only if you buy a bike.
Only if you buy a bike.
Yeah, that's the stipulation. Is you
Absolutely.
have to buy a bike.
Yep.
All right. Well, so you've got some accessories on yours. Let's talk about those really quickly. Not only do you have the speaker attached to the bike for the fun of it, but you've also got your trusted sidekick Koa in the back.
I actually forgot she was back there. You're being such a good girl. You're being such a good girl. So yeah, we've got this bike outfitted with some racks, a basket, some chrome bags, speaker, phone holder, a little bell. This has kind of a lot of the common things that we put on the bikes,
And
especially the dog.
Especially the dog. If you have a dog that can fit in the basket, they'll give you a basket to put your dog in the basket. I'm gonna need like a suitcase size basket to
know.
put my dog in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you might need a little sidecar.
Oh,
They
that
make
would.
them. They make them
Wow, look at. And can you special order those for people?
for sure.
God. You're just making everyone's dreams come true.
That's what I do.
I think that we should go for a nice little bike ride, but before we go for a bike ride, I think that we do the proper send-off.
Let's ride.
Following you.
Okay, here we go. You. And squeal.
Chris, these bikes are a ton of fun. I think everyone needs one in their life.
Everyone.
Everyone.
But we only have 20 left, so
20 left, that's it.
that's it for the year.
Wow, so if you want a bike, you have to come into Town AllStars right now and get your hands on a Super 73.
Yes, ma'am.
That simple.
That's simple. Just come on in. Come and knock on our door.
Come and knock on their door. Get a bike from Town AllStars. One more time, where are you guys located and what are your hours so people can make sure that they get their hands on the bike properly?
We are in Vail, Colorado on the Green Mile, next to Pier 13 Liquors. We are here 9-ish to 6-ish Monday through Friday, and then 10-ish to 2:30-ish on Saturday.
Chris, thank you so much for all of the fun. We're going to keep riding bikes because it's a ton of fun, but we hope to see you come visit them at Town AllStars. All right, let's go.
You!
Welcome back to the Scoreboard. It's time for our weekly fly fishing report from our resident expert, Mark Sassy of Minturn Anglers.
A fly fishing report, my favorite thing to do. I run Minturn Anglers in Minturn. We had a chance to check in with one of my guides, Ben, yesterday to find out what's happening on the rivers. Now I want to give you firsthand details about what you can expect. You know, we did have a very late spring. We had a moment of a couple of weeks where we saw a lot of snow once again, cold weather, and it slowed that snow melt down. Our snowpack for this year wasn't significant. It was better than last year, but it still wasn't significant. So having that cold snap in the middle of, early June really prolonged the water levels we have on the Eagle River. It helped our flows on the Colorado River. And when you have those higher flows, it helps out with those water temperatures also. I want to show you what's happening on the Colorado River. And this is going to be, above Pump House, which is one of the put-ins we go to, above State Bridge, below Kremling. The flows right now have come up just a little bit. We're at about 700 cubic feet per second, which is a cubic foot roughly the size of a basketball. One of my guides told me yesterday morning, though, that at these flow levels, we're starting to see water temperatures getting into the upper 60s earlier in the day. Now, once we start seeing water temperatures above 65 degrees, as a commercial outfitter, we need to halt fishing operations. We can't damage the fish. It puts a lot of stress on the fish with less oxygen in the water at those higher temperatures. So I think as a public fisherman, if you guys are gonna go fish on your own, it might be something to think about to grab yourself a thermometer to check those water temperatures, because it does, even though it has been cool and we've had rain, those water temperatures are still dramatically affected by a multitude of different things coming from Mother Nature, natural things that affect it and raise that water temperature. If you see temperatures getting into the mid-60s, I would recommend stop fishing at that point. Let's take a look at our flows on the Eagle River now. So this is going to be right here, just west of where we are in Avon. And we saw great flows continuing, and you can see that starting to continually go down. We had rain the other day on July the 6th. We had a spike there. We had a little bit of rain on the 7th, a little bit of a spike there. Our flows right now are just below 400 cubic feet per second. Great flows for wade fishing, low flows for fishing from a boat. You got to be careful of that one. And once again, with those low flows, we have those higher water temperatures midday, so keep that in mind. Now, I've spoken with Maddie about this before. She's very well aware of the whole keep them wet philosophy. Now, what we have to make sure we do is, with these high water temperatures, and just in general, when you go and catch a fish and you net your fish, the ticket is to not bring the net out of the water. Keep the fish in the net in the water. You don't necessarily need to pull the fish out to get that photo and hold the fish out of the water for a minute while you're getting a photo. It's not good for the fish, especially during these higher water temperatures. So try to keep the fish in the net, in the water. If you want to get a photo, maybe just kind of pull it up just a little bit, put it back down, use both hands if you need to, or just kind of show the net off with the fish or get a photo of the fish in the net before you let it go. But don't take them out of the water. Keep those fish wet and make sure that your hands are wet too before you even attempt to handle the fish. Pinch the barbs down on your hooks also. That way, when it takes time for you to have to get the hook out, they will pop right out. Now I want to focus on what's happening on the plate of food here for the fish. We have a massive variety of different bugs available now with these warmer water temperatures. We start to see all the dry flies in the air all day long, a variety of caddis flies. We have some PMDs, which is a pale morning dun, which is also a mayfly. And we have a variety of different stoneflies. Let's take a look at my plate of food right here, and I'll show you what we have happening. Now this is just a smattering, once again, a small smattering. Over here in the corner, these are small black caddis. This is called a peacock caddis, probably a size 18. Now the caddis flies come out over the course of the entire day, and in the morning time they might be bigger and lighter in color, and then towards the end of the day we're seeing more of these smaller, darker caddis flies. This fly right here is called a ginger caddis variant. Now this is very similar once again to the size of the other caddis flies like these over here, but that color makes all the difference. So when you have caddis flies in your box, everybody, it's nice to have some of every size and every color, believe it or not. This fly right back here is a yellow foam caddis. Now that's once again a caddis fly with a yellow body, but that can also represent a stonefly, which is a golden stone. That fly can represent the yellow Sally, which is another fly you'll use to catch the stoneflies, or the lighter colored caddis. These right here, this right here is a variation of a PMD fly, which is a pale morning dun, which is a mayfly, and you're going to fish those throughout the daytime also. And then this right here is another variation of a PMD with an orange post. The fish don't see that orange post. That is for you to see on the top of the water so you know where your flies are. So these are all about a size 18 to a size 20, but if you don't want to fish with the dry flies, you can shift gears, maybe put a hopper on, a big hopper, a chubby Chernobyl, treat it with some a quell so it floats, and then below that you can tie nymphs if you want to fish with nymphs. And you can fish with the subsurface versions of any of these flies, because before they become adults, they have to float to the surface. They're emerging, so you can fish with the emerger variations of these. My recommendation is, I know it gets a little confusing with the entomology, swing by Minturn Anglers and let Nick and myself and the crew in there kind of guide you in the right direction to help you pick out some bugs that are going to work perfectly. Let's look at your fishing report.
Welcome back into the Scoreboard. We're just about out of time for today's show, but before we go, we'd like to give you a sneak peek at our adventure show, Scoreboard Nation. You can find it daily at 6:30 p.m. right here on TV8. On our way out, we catch up with professional freestyler mountain biker Cam Zink. For Maddie Evans, I am Blake O'Rourke, and we will see you all next time.
All right, we're hanging out with pro freerider and X Games athlete Cam Zink. He's from Carson City, went to Carson High School. Now
Yes,
you
sir.
got this sweet property out here in North Reno. Tell me what we're doing here today.
Well, this is kind of just an elaboration of the childhood dream, you know, like your goal is to get sponsored, and then your goal is to like make a living on it, and then you're like, well, I want my own land, and then I want to have my own event, I want to help all my friends out, and kind of just be able to control your own career and take the sport wherever you want, you know? So this is my dream of what I like in mountain biking and motorcycles, and all my best friends come out and have the best time of your life.
All right, so this is the Cam Zink Invitational.
Yes, sir.
We've done this a couple times now. Tell me exactly what you guys are doing over the next couple days.
So it's the ethos of the event is like if you ever look up the Fest series or like Audi 9s, it's more of just a media event. Get everyone on the best jumps in the world and see what happens, and just make everyone have a good time. Then we added an element of a scavenger hunt, kind of like Thrasher King of the Road. We're there on a road trip, but this will be like kind of King of Reno, and you know, biggest hand on blackjack and best style, best whip. You know, riding challenges and then nightlife challenges. The GSR has been gracious enough to sponsor it. So big thanks to GSR, Monster, and all the other sponsors. So it's, yeah, a bit of everything. We have roughly 30 riders. There was kind of 20 main priority invited moto and bike riders. Colby Raha, X Games gold medalist, and Tyler Berriman. And then we have numerous, accolades of all the best mountain bikers in the world. And then everyone keeps asking, can I bring someone else? Can I bring so-and-so? He's a good rider. He's legit, I swear. And there's turns out to be a lot of new young talent out here that are shredding. And just, this is kind of like an opportunity to get on the film and get some sponsors making a name for themselves.
Why is Northern Nevada such an awesome place to do this?
I think Northern Nevada is just an awesome place for everything. I always said Reno 911 kept the kooks out, but now it seems that after the show's gone, it seems like it's just flooding in and people figure out how awesome it is up here.